And we are now going into our after hours special, sponsored by Thin Man Brewery. And we have a wonderful guest that's joined us today, Marty Biron.
Martin, bonjour.
So
You get to sit back and relax.
I get to enjoy this, and this is fantastic. I'll tell you guys, it started with the very first year where you crazy 40 players decided to play for 11 days. And
Tell that story you told just before, because that was interesting.
I got a few stories. First of all, last night I'm sitting watching some late night hockey game, and I got the computer, on my lap, and I'm doing some work because I'm going to be on the Instigators in the morning, and I got to, do my research. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, let me go and check out the live stream, right? So when I logged into the 11daypowerplay.com, clicked on the live stream, it was the beginning of the documentaries that you guys put out for the very first year, and I had never seen it. So I sat in there and I watched the whole thing. It was amazing. The stories behind the players, their injuries, physical and mental, because they were drained. You guys did an amazing job, and it was just fantastic. I thought that was a great documentary put together, and it told a lot of stories, and it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thanks.
No, that was great.
I think it's been 4 years, so it's this is why we're replaying it. We want to make sure everyone's seen it, because those guys just really did so much good and laid the path for the community shift. You yourself have been involved with the 11-day power play since the first community shift.
Yes, and I have recovered for the better part of a month to 6 weeks after every time I've played. So, they want me to play goalie. That's the 1 or 2 times a year that I actually put the pads on and I actually play a game. I never do anymore. I mean, I don't even know if I have equipment that I could wear that would be fitting for the day and age of hockey now. So if I had to go back on the ice, I'd probably take my son's gear and say, hey, listen, you borrowed my gear for so many years. I'm borrowing yours right now because it's the better stuff. But, so, in year 2, we did a shift with some of the alumni, some of, NHL players around. Alex Tuck was there, and I remember he was fantastic. Last year did a couple of shifts, did one with the Academy of Hockey and did also the one with the Sabres Alumni and Pat Kaleta and his foundation.
You played out? You played out?
No, I played goal,
Both
but
times.
I brought my son that time, so I got to play half and half.
Right,
I'm like,
right,
listen, I need a timeout here. You come in. So, and now this year we're going to get playing some street hockey, and
Back
I was
to the
watching the game before and this one, and they're intense. I
was the
mean,
girls.
The girls were intense before. Now they're intense in there too. Black team really wants to get going, so they hunt balls down. They go to the corners. They make plays. It's great to see. So I think our group is going to be intense as well, because you can't take the competitive nature out of those that group of guys and gals. So it's going to be awesome.
Well, Jay McKee says that he's so excited to play street hockey. I guess in Canada, that's what he grew up doing and absolutely loves it.
We did that not only in the summer. We did that 12 months out of the year. Some days, my buddy across the street, my dad used to flood the backyard, but after a while, my buddy across the street had the perfect setup. He had a crushed stone kind of volleyball court in the back. So it was easy. We would just put boards and flood that, and it was great. Well, some weekends or weeks, sometimes it's a little warmer and the ice is not as good. So then we would take it to the street. And we lived on a straight street that was a dead end. So, and we were towards the end of the street, so not as many cars go by. And between the hours of 4:30 and 6, they knew if you were coming home from work, you had to go around us. We weren't moving the nets. The only time we were moving the nets was for the school bus, the late school bus for the after-hours program. Then we had to move the nets. But we were you had to go around us. And my house had the 2 nets on the front porch. We had the goalie equipment in the basement. And if we weren't there, then the kids would come knock on the door. Hey, can we get the goalie equipment? They would go downstairs, grab the 2 bags, come out, and the nets. And my parents were like, no problem. That's what our street was. We played hockey, 12 months out of the year in the street. And
get the snowbanks on the sides, get knocked into the snowbanks.
So the plow would push the snow to the side, but every once in a while they'd bring these massive snow blowers, these truck snow blowers, and they would cut the street wider so that the snow wouldn't like just make the street really narrow. And they would literally make a 5-foot wall on each side of the street that was hard snow.
Perfect.
So if you got hit in there, there were some soft spots, but there were some hard, icy spots. Those one really hurt. So yeah.
Now, is your brother older or younger?
He's 3 years younger.
Okay.
So, but he's taller and bigger.
Yeah.
So I picked on him until
guy.
about I was 16 and he
He's a
was
big
13. And then all of a sudden he blew right by me, and I was like, "Oh no, thank you, sir." Yeah.
I was just wondering because I was thinking that oftentimes I had a little brother, and somehow he always got to play goalie. It's usually the younger brother that gets stuck in that.
It's funny you say that. When I got drafted by the Sabres, the week before, I met with a bunch of teams, and the Tampa Bay Lightning interviewed me in their hotel rooms and whatnot, kind of like what they do at the Combine here in Buffalo. They do interviews. Phil and Tony Esposito's were, at the time, members of the organization with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Phil goes, "Oh, Marty, tell us about you. You have any brothers, sisters?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a younger brother." He goes, "Does he play hockey?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's a pretty good player, too. He'll come up in a few years. You'll talk to him." And he goes, "Can you tell me why you decided to play goalie and not make the younger brother play goalie?" I made Tony. Tony was younger than me. I said, "Hey, young kid, get in net. I'm going to pepper you." Just like you saying. And I had no answer. Probably why they didn't draft me. I blacked out. I was like, I don't know what to say. I kind of went shy and didn't say anything. But that's usually the way it works.
We're grateful that they didn't draft you because we like you here in Buffalo.
Well, I've been drafted in 1995, moved to Rochester in 97, basically been out here in Western New York for 23 years. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. That's where I am. That's my adult home. I have a young and teenager home, which was Quebec City, but now it's here. And I'll tell you, I love the community. And a quick story, because things happen. So today I go to the post office in Orchard Park, and I have my 11-day power play T-shirt on. And I walk in and to drop a package, and the postman behind me, he goes, "Oh, the 11-day power play, that's awesome, that's fantastic." I'm like, "Yeah, they've got it going on right now at Buffalo River Works." He goes, "Yeah, I know about it. Yeah, that's great. I got some friends that have played in it." So I'm like, "Oh, this is cool, right? This is Buffalo. This is, the community sense of it." I walk outside to go to my car, and this one lady says, "Hey, nice T-shirt." And I have my mask on. I have my 11-day power play mask on. And, so she doesn't really recognize me. And she goes, "Did you play?" And I'm like, I did a couple of times. And I'm going to do it again this year on the street hockey. And then she recognized the accent. He goes, "Marty?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then so then we got to talking. Her son was Jason Jablonski.
Oh,
JJ. So that was Lori.
Lori.
And
Oh my
I got to
gosh.
talk to her for like 20 minutes right there in the parking lot at the post office. And she's telling me about how, he played for the Regals growing up in St. Francis, and then he went to the Naval Academy. I knew a little bit of the story, but didn't really know much of it. So she shared the story. It was just amazing. I'm like, I want to give you a hug. I mean, I know we can't, and it's difficult, but we're going like this, But it's just a fantastic story, and they'll be here Sunday night, I believe. So
and
it's
kids from all over, local kids that played with him here at the Regals in high school at St. Francis.
Yes.
Yep. And then, when he went to college, like a lot of those kids come back and play.
She was telling me that the Naval Academy, because they can't leave campus, they are organizing a street hockey game to be played at the same time over there. So that is like, we talk about this now, and it's reached all around the world. It's not just here in Buffalo. You guys did an amazing job, and it's all over the world. So it's special. It's something special.
She picked up the jersey. She was actually one of the first to see All Cancers Matter. It's different colors. She came to the office to pick them up, and she drove them down there to the kids that are playing down there.
Yep.
So like how awesome is that to be able to be sent?
It's
south.
Buffalo in a nutshell. People wanting to support another, wanting to join in great causes, and then to have people like you guys to be able to put in countless hours and days and months and years, and it's amazing. So I feel fortunate. Like, I come in and I spend a few minutes talking to you guys here. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that any time and come in to play a shift. But the work you guys do and the volunteers do in the back, I came in and I must have come in through the wrong door, and then I got to tap my shoulder. I'm like, hey, we got to do your temperature check. And I'm like, okay, so they're doing their job. I'm telling you, they're doing their job back there. So that's great.
So you're wearing the golf shirt.
Yes.
Want to talk a little bit about now? Before you do that, do you know? Did we tell you the stats of the golf outing that you guys did? It was you, Patrick Coletta, Mike Pekka, and Jay McKee as the pros. And in a 2-week period, we raised $47,000.
I knew it was above 45,000. We had talked about it, but also this is amazing that you guys got to capture all of it. What a fantastic day! What some great people. You know, I mean, you talk about some of the.
Watch this shot right here.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Sorry.
Was that you? So the hole number 2 is the par 3.
Yeah.
So they had the drone flying, right? So I put it in the water. So I didn't want to hit the drone. I didn't want to break that equipment, so I put it in the water. But what a great day. And, you know, you guys were talking about some of the proceeds and funds are going to go to the COVID-19 Roswell Park relief program. And one of the guys I played with was in the hospital for a while with COVID, and it was in a coma. They thought he was going, and then Robert, he made a great recovery. So you meet some really cool people through all of that. You know, the fact that we tied for second. We were on 18. We were the last group. Everybody was around the green.
We had a little heckling going on.
We had the approach to come in. Then we had to make the putt for eagle to be able to tie it for first. We didn't make it. There was a putt off, and then there was a winner. But it was great. It was awesome.
I think everybody was surprised that everybody's had their money on Team Pekka, and at the end of the day, Coletta, of all people, Coletta pulled it out.
He can crush a drive. Pat Coletta was crushing drives on that course.
Hockey gloves or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Pekka actually had put his golf bag in the
I also didn't want to hit the drone. I didn't want to hit the drone.
So Pekka actually had put his golf bags away, and when he went to putt, he used just somebody's putter. And he literally, it was like maybe a 30-foot putt, like the closest to the hole. He probably went halfway. Like that was the worst putt of the group, and it was probably the best golfer of the group. But he was a lot of fun.
He left quickly after that.
He's never a good. I don't want to say a sore loser, but he's not a
He
good
prefers
loser.
to win.
Well,
He prefers to win.
He's competitive. He's absolutely competitive.
Absolutely competitive. He came in. He was on the range for a half an hour before teeing off and working on his game. He plays so much golf that his tan lines on his feet are like completely. His feet are white and his legs are dark. That's how much golf he's playing. So.
He's a good player too. He's a good player.
Really good player.
He was on yesterday, and Mike's a good friend of ours. He said the same thing you did about Buffalo.
Yep.
He's from Toronto. You're from Quebec, and after he arrived here, met Kristen. They went to New York and Edmonton and Columbus, and they came back here because it's a great community. And he said the same things you did about this community, and the fact that we're here playing this event. We've raised over $1 million in 2020. Speaks to our community. It's a special place.
Every year, and I know there's so many special groups and charities and events that are happening around the city, around the region. But some of them are extra special. Because you know the people. Some events are huge and you don't know the people, and it's great to support all of them. And we do some with the Sabres that is great events, and you meet some great people. My friend Isabella, who has done the Bald for Bucks for years, she is in Philadelphia right now for treatments over there, her and her family. And I was talking to her mom, and I said, just, don't tell them you're from Buffalo or you like the Sabres or the Bills. It's going to be tough. But if you want to, wear a Biron Flyers jersey, you're going to be all set. They're going to like you everywhere. It's great. And you mentioned I grew up in Quebec City, and obviously, in my family, I've had some people in the fight and come out on the good side of it, and some in the fight that didn't come out on the good side of it. Yep. But really learned a lot from those experiences from people close to me. One of my closest cousins, she was my age, and we lost her. It's now 11 years ago, I believe. So I mean, it's tough, and and it makes you think.
Yeah.
So
We're reminded of every day.
Every day.
Absolutely.
Dale Howard Chuck the other day. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Dale was one of those stories, and the amount of courage and strength that he showed until the very end, and his family really, because for Dale, it's really sad because he gave his life to the people and to make sure that he was a role model, but for his family to continue that legacy. I mean, that's a tough part, and his son Eric has done an amazing job putting the message out there. And so, again, big family. The hockey family is a big family.
Yep.
You guys are building a huge family with this 11-day power play, and it's great. It's amazing.
What did your son think of playing in the event?
Oh, he loved it. So he's got like 8
goalie,
different,
by the way.
Goalie, yes. His phone cover is a picture from the event. A picture that Bill Whipper, I think, took, and he sent it to me. So, for Christmas, I got him a phone cover, and it's that picture.
Oh, cool.
Of him in the nets. But he's got like 8 group chats going either on Snapchat or Instagram or text messages with some of the people that we played with. Because there was some kids his age that we played against and some different teams. So he's got a few groups going on, and he loved it. And for him, I mean, he got to play with, they sit on the bench with some of the Sabres alumni, and he's like, this is really cool, taking shots from Michael Pekka and those guys. So he thought it was really, really cool. But at some point, and the kids become way better than the adults. So
I'm there.
I know you're there. I know Liam can outskate the old man, so that's good. So, but I'm in the same boat right now. I'm like, you're way better than I was at any age. Just go do your thing. Come out and skate and have fun, and it was a good experience. It was great.
How old was he when he had his first skate with you?
Oh boy, young, but funny enough, because of my schedule and because of how busy we were, I remember his first year that he played mini mites here in Buffalo. I was in Long Island. So, through the years in Philly, he did a couple of skating lessons, but that was it. But the first year that he got to play, and he was with Clarence, and they played out at Nichols, and on Saturday, Sunday morning, I wasn't even here. So I would get the videos. They would send me the videos after, and he'd be in the locker room, and he's like his old man. He talks a lot, so he'd be like, Dad, today I scored a goal. I made a great pass. I skated fast. And I have all of this on computer. But then when we got to New York with the Rangers, then I went on the ice with him a little bit. Then he transitioned to goalie, which was really cool. A little cruel at times because he's looking at me and playing in the National Hockey League, and he's like, that's what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to play for the New York Rangers or for the Buffalo Sabres, and I'm like, okay, well, just enjoy playing in Bedford right now, or, like that's where we are. But
it's always good to dream.
He's got the dream. he's got many dreams.
And he's a big kid too now.
Yeah,
he's grown.
He's past
I've seen
me.
him. Yeah.
My girls, I mean, I've got 3 girls. I got a 14, 12, and 10-year-old as well. So he's 16, and my girls are a little younger, but they were gone the middle 2 were gone for the last 3 weeks. I hadn't seen them in 3 weeks. They came back on Tuesday. They do horseback riding, and they're really competitive in that department. And they came back. I'm like, whoa.
Did you grow?
Like, what happened over there? Did they hang you upside down by your feet? Like, you don't see them for a couple of weeks, and they grow so much. It's amazing.
Yeah. So for Liam, the 2017, the world record game, we were busy planning that whole year. And after the event, we looked at Liam, and school was starting a month later. And I didn't have any pants that fit him. It was like he grew like 5 inches. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh. It made you feel like you missed the whole year.
It kind of feels like that right now because of COVID, and the pandemic started in March. We're in late August. I'm like, where has the last 5.5, 6 months been?
Yeah, it's been very
I feel like it's been a blur. And, now that we have a little bit more of the I call it the norm. Like, there's hockey on TV, there's sports, there's things going on. It feels like, okay, I'm catching up to it. But for the last 4 months, I'm like, what happened? Yeah. Where has it been?
Yeah, it's very odd.
So, I'm feeling that. Like, so this shirt, and you guys laughed. You said, I got my polo from the 11-day power play. I'm going through my closet. I'm like, where's my 11? They borrowed my golf shirt, right? And so I'm like, Jacob, where is it? He goes,
He's wearing it.
it's in my closet. You said I could wear it. And I'm like, well, I need it. So he's like coming into my closet and stealing stuff. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, thanks for representing tonight.
Well,
You
no,
look
this is fantastic. It's great, and again with the T-shirt, and it's people recognize the T-shirt, the logo.
I think there's a lot of pride.
There's
It's a
ton of pride.
Buffalo event that started here, and hopefully will go into other cities.
You know what, and that's what we were with Lori. That's what we were talking. She's like, I think they want to go into different cities and branch out and really regroup everybody, and that's what it did here. I mean, how many players played last year in the community shift? Like, we're talking
2,600.
I was going to say a couple of thousand. I mean,
Yep.
that regroups a ton of people, a ton of family, parts of the world that you don't even know. People come back to Buffalo, so
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact stats, but we had something like 20 states and 9 countries represented last year,
Yeah.
including a guy that came from Tokyo, Japan. He's from here, lives in Tokyo, and his buddies were playing. And last year he came. He was planning to come this year. He couldn't.
Obviously,
But,
yeah.
We're going to go to the Lamar stat board.
Okay.
So we can review the stats from the day. They're interesting stats. Current totals.
So we just started last night. So there's been 71 goals scored. We've got 1,300 players and 98 teams.
I feel like it's harder to score goals in this format.
it is.
The ball doesn't react the same way. You don't shoot the same way, and the goalies look like Michelin Man when
I know.
on the ice. It's different. That puck flies a little bit. So, but 71 goals, 1,300 players, amazing. I mean, it just started 1,300
What
players.
we got here? Like 3-zip. Our game, we played with a bunch of the original 40 guys. It was only like 8-7 or something. We
Okay.
played for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
On the ice, that would have been like 21
probably,
to 19.
yeah,
or
probably.
But no, this is great. I'm going to have to maybe dust off the old running shoes a couple days before and just stretch and do some sprints in the yard or something
Are you
like
going
that.
to play goal, do you think?
I don't know. See, you talked about Jay McKee, how excited he is to play. Whenever we would do things like this with the Sabres, and we did it often, we would go down around the Cobblestone District, find a parking lot, and play street hockey with, maybe 10, 12 guys for fun. Jay always wanted to be the goalie. He always
Really?
wanted to play goal.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's a situation where maybe I start, maybe he finishes, maybe he starts. I don't know. But I feel like I would love to score a goal. I would love to get out there and score a goal.
I
feel
think
like
you should. Marty, I was thinking about you the other day. Anytime you play in our event, you're in goal, and everyone wants to score against you. I mean, how does that feel?
And by the way, you don't make
You're
it
a
easy.
trooper.
Well, it
Because when they score on you, they celebrate.
they celebrate. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I kind of played that one easy. It's the ones where I think I played them really hard that go in, I get really mad. And so last year, I think it was the very first shift, somebody came down the wing and took a slap shot, and I went to grab it with a glove, and I completely missed it, and it went in. And Pat Coletta is laughing. Brian Giunta is over. He goes, dude, what happened? How can you let that one
You're
go?
like, come on, it was a girl. I let her score.
But it looked like I was trying, so I couldn't even say, I was just letting it go. Like, I was mad that one went in. But, no, I laugh all the time. Professional hockey players, even now, I'm 6 years removed.
I was just
I
gonna
am
say.
nowhere near where those guys are. Like, I feel so fortunate and lucky to have played for 15 years. I'm like, how did that happen? Pinch me. Because these guys are so good. Like, I watch my old games, and I'm like, I'm just average. Obviously, like, what am I doing there? But
Far from average.
far from that, I got to play 15 years. But I look at the guys now, and I'm like, how did I even do this? How did I even play? And so I laugh when some people say, you know what, I can score on an NHL goalie. No, you can't. I can tell you right now, you cannot.
Next to
Those guys
impossible.
are so good. And unless they let you score, and the Philadelphia Flyers at this carnival where fans would come down and take shots on us. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. 5 hours in my gear taking shots from fans, right? And the fans are there, and they're like, we're going to score. We're going to score. And obviously, you got to let some score. Like, the kid comes in, you make it look bad. But guys are shooting at your head. They're going bar down. I'm like, dude, you're not scoring.
Yeah.
You have zero chance. So sometimes now, as an alumni and as a retired goalie, I try and they score and I get mad. Sometimes I let them score, but it does happen that
The
that they score
goalies
on
and
their own.
the players, they are just they're ridiculous how good they are.
Well, you saw it last year, like Matty Ellis, right? Matt Ellis is like, what, 5 years retired? Maybe he played in Rochester. He was on the ice. He was skating laps around everybody. Still like I did like 10 levels above everybody. It was amazing. But, yeah. So this puts it on an evil playing field, though. I'll tell you this. Playing ball hockey, NHL or not, we're all back to our youth, and we're all on an even playing field.
That's right.
So that's why I think I can score. I can go in and score because
we'll be rooting for you.
We'll be rooting for you. Amy's going to be playing goal on the other team.
Oh, good. Yes.
I can actually get out there. I can't skate, Marty. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not know that.
So I might get out there and play a little. But Marty, the event this year has changed a little bit. We're doing this live stream because we really want to educate the community. We want to raise awareness to all different types of cancers. So we're actually going to meet Dr. Yedamari from Roswell Park, who's going to talk about lung cancer. Another reason why our players are wearing white.
Yep.
It's the color of lung cancer. So we're going to go ahead and watch that now.